Okay, once you have the transmission out, before you take the clutch apart, you're going to want to spray it with some water to get the asbestos, the dust, so you don't breathe that. So spray it all down, and then you can use your air tools and take the bolts on the pressure plate out, but spray it down with water first. So next step, you're going to take the bolts that are holding the pressure plate on. The pressure plate will come off, and the clutch disc will be behind it, facing down. So as you can see, this clutch is flush at the rivets. This clutch is toast. Try not to touch this a lot or breathe in any of this stuff. Pressure plate, you guys can see, is really messed up. And then the next step is to take the flywheel off. Take those 6 bolts off, because we're going to replace this one. You can machine it, send it to a machine shop.
So on the pressure plate, there's a bearing, which is your input shaft bearing. Come to the new one here. This one you actually have to just press it into the flywheel. It's not pressed into the block, so tap it in, and you grab your flywheel bolts. It's very important you use Loctite. Put a little bit of Loctite on these bolts here. Then you're going to torque these bolts to 87 foot-pounds. So once you go over these slightly with a gun or a ratchet, tighten them down, cross pattern, torque them to 87 foot-pounds. So when you're going to torque those bolts, obviously if you turn this, you're just going to turn the engine. So somebody needs to be on this side, the crank. Got the lights. There's a ratchet, breaker bar. Somebody will hold this as I torque these. Or else you're just going to turn the engine and you're going to be there all day. So after that, obviously the flywheel is on. You get your clutch disc and your clutch aligning tool. Insert the tool into the tranny, and then you would slide your clutch disc on. Everything is nice and centered. So after you grab your pressure plate, it would slide over, everything will line up, and then you put your bolts in. And that should be nice and straight for the input shaft to go into the engine. Okay, so after the clutch disc is slid on, get somebody to help you, whatever. There's dowel pins, one there, and then one at the top, just so it holds it in. And you always want to make sure this floats nice and easy, in and out. So you know everything's still square and tight. Again, get some Loctite, put on your bolts. Put them all in. Do the process for all the other ones, and then you're going to slowly suck them down, star pattern, and you're going to watch the fingers go in. And once you're all square, tightening down, torque them to spec, which is 25 Newton meters.